my name is Allison Young, and I'm a Curatorial Fellow for Modern and Contemporary Art here at NOMA. So I want to thank you for joining us for this week's Curator Spotlight, during which I would love to take the opportunity to share just a little bit more about one of NOMA's very recent new acquisitions, which is this beautiful sculpture by Lynda Benglis called Brindaban Pink. So if you come and take a closer look, Lynda Benglis was born in 1941 in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and while she's become very widely known for her post-minimalist art and for being a major player in the national and international art scenes, having been based in New York in the late 20th century, she was one of a number of artists of her generation from Louisiana that really gained national prominence in that time. So while we're talking about this work, I also want to give a quick nod to a work across the gallery by Robert Rauschenberg, who was also an artist who was fundamental in his connections to Louisiana and who became a really crucial and important artist of the late 20th century. For a bit of institutional history, NOMA actually had a major exhibition in 1977 called Five from Louisiana that featured both of these artists alongside the work by the photographer and musician Dickie Landry, as well as Tina Gerard, whose works are featured in our Great Hall currently, and lastly with Keith Saunier, whose retrospective we're opening in just a few weeks. So we're really excited to be showing works by all of these phenomenal artists from Louisiana. So Lynda Benglis was prominent in the late 20th century in New York, and at the time, the very prevailing artistic trends that one would see around the city were very minimalist artworks, paintings and sculptures with kind of hard geometric edges, often made from industrial materials that kind of evacuated the artist's hand from the work. And Benglis really sought to work against those trends, often introducing more malleable materials, more kind of process-based works, and a sense of sensuality and bright color into her work. And so she became widely known for works of poured aluminum and latex, of which we have a few examples in our galleries. This new piece is made in 1979 and was actually one of the first works that she made when she began to travel to Ahmedabad, India to do an artistic residency at the Sarabhai Institute. She would go on to spend the next 30 years returning to India. She was so inspired by the colors, the culture, the really vibrant life that she found there. And this work really shows just how inspired she was by that local landscape. We see kind of this explosion of colors, materials, mirrored surfaces, feathers, all kinds of different textures that's really sensually evocative. This piece actually takes the form of a peacock's tail, and in that it's a reference to the peacock being the national bird of India. But through this reference, she's also kind of thinking through different aspects of gender politics that she's expressing through this work. The male peacock is typically the one that kind of spreads his tail as a show of masculine strength and virility, but she's introducing a lot of feminine forms and colors and textures to kind of draw associations as well to female forms of strength and visibility and beauty. So kind of mixing up these two different facets of gender identity and creating something that really blends and celebrates all aspects of that spectrum. In addition to that, the work is titled Brindaban Pink. It's named after a town in India where there's currently a shrine to the home of Mirabai, who was a 16th century Hindu mystic poet, known for her own kind of revolution in terms of gender politics. She was somebody who really upended gender norms and was a major figure in the Bhakti movement, which showed devotion to God through acts of love and emotional expression. And she was very much an outspoken figure for her time. So Benglis is really celebrating all of these different associations, crossing cultures, thinking about gender, thinking about going against the prevailing kind of minimalist and perhaps less personal art trends at the time in order to create something that is really sensual and experiential. So I would invite you to come to the museum to take a much closer look at this work in person, which is really fantastic to view with all of its mirrored surfaces and textures and colors. So please do stop by and visit us and check out our new acquisition. So I thank you all so much for taking the time to watch this Curator Spotlight, and we hope to see you soon.